Hey guys, Wilson here. It's the weekend, first weekend in April 2025. I'm all set to do another video. I just decided a few minutes ago to do George Harrison, so even though I'm always telling you guys I have no preparation for these shows, I really haven't. I didn't even think about, like psychologically what I was going to say about these albums for George Harrison. But that's okay. I pulled everything out about a week ago, so it's been sitting here. So maybe subliminally it's been sitting in my head, percolating about what I want to say. I'm going to do his whole career because unlike, say, John, whose career was cut short, or Paul, whom I don't have all of his albums, I do have all the George Harrison albums because there's not a whole lot. So I'll show you what I got, all right? Okay, we're going to start. This is Wonderwall. This is, I know it's not the album. This is a Rhino handmade set that came out some time ago. It had a DVD because, Wonderwall, the album he made, the soundtrack to Wonderwall, I don't even have it. All I have is the movie. This was a DVD, but it was not good looking. It wasn't even in widescreen. So I waited and I got the Blu-ray when that came out, and I swapped that out in here. But I kept the, the box and the packaging. It's cool, Wonderwall. I mean, in terms of, Beatle movies, he does a soundtrack. I think Clapton does a little bit of work. He's not in the movie, of course. There's no Beatle in the movie, but it does have George's music. I wish I had the CD, or the LP to show you, but I don't. A lot of people like it. I think it's okay. Basically, it's an okay album, and it's a okay film. But his career really starts with All Things Must Pass in 1970. This is a colorized version because of the original black and white album cover, none of which is reproduced here. This is a 2 CD set of, it's the 2 studio LPs and then a 3rd LP of jams that hardly anybody ever plays. But the last time I played the album of jams, it wasn't that bad. But it's just the double LP, the studio LP is so good. It's pretty much my favorite solo Beatles album, which is to say, I like it better than Band on the Run or Ram or even, Plastic Ono Band or Imagine. So I'm going to say, yeah, All Things Must Pass is a wonderful double LP with an extra LP of jams. I'd go over all the songs, but really I'd have to read them all because they're all great. This, I don't do the unboxing videos for you guys, but this is the, let me tilt the phone here so you can see it. This is the big gnome, box set of All Things Must Pass that I spent too much money on, but there you go. I'm not going to take it out. But it's, it's in surround. You get the gnomes, you get books and whatnot. You get bonus stuff. It's like I said, it's my favorite solo Beatles album. So here's some CDRs of bootlegs of Beware of Adco, which are all demos that he made for Phil Spector, during the making of this album, including lots of songs on here, or some songs on here, which never even made the album. So if you've never heard All Things Must Pass, it's a 5-star classic. I like it as much as I like, Let It Be. I like it more than McCartney or the 2 albums that Ringo made that year. So, and yeah, I even like it more than Plastic Ono Band. So that is the Beatles output and solo output of 1970. Okay, after that, he goes from one big project to another. He does the concert for Bangladesh. This is the current CD, George Harrison and Friends. I'm going to take it out of the bag. This is the old DVD. It's a wonderful movie. You know all about it. It's the first big, rock concert for a charity event. The people in Bangladesh who were starving, nothing on the back, awaiting some kind of Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray upgrade for this classic movie and album. I mean, I love it. I love the Dylan sequence. I love the live versions. So this was another triple album. So if you know, he went from one big thing to another in 70 and 71. And I heard somewhere online that's going to be, you know, Donnie Harrison's next big project. They're going to do something with the movie and the album. Hopefully, you know, they'll just restore everything and put it out in surround sound, because I'll pay for it. You know, that's a big thing with me. So then they have, or he has, this is the little box for Living in the Material World. This is a nice little set here. You get the remastered album. You get a DVD. It's a solid record. If it's agreed that All Things Must Pass is George's best album, it's difficult to say what his second best album is. Opinions vary. You know, you get the hardcore Harrison fans such as me who will tell you, well, it's like picking Moby Grape's second best album, because everyone agrees that the debut is their best record. I go with this 33 to third, maybe Cloud 9. I would take any of those as his second best album, but this is strong. And you know, it had "Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth," which was the #1 song, right? After he had that #1 song off "Living in the Material World." There's also a 5.1 box set of that, which came out not too long ago. These are the only two, you know, Harrison albums that have been given, All Things Must Pass and Living in the Material World, that have been given the deluxe treatment in 5.1. So, you know, hopefully they will do more. Like I said, maybe the concert for Bangladesh is next, but it'd also be good to get into the Dark Horse albums. So, real good. You know, he's definitely in his, you know, kind of Hindu, kind of preacherly mode, where he's telling us all how to live, which, you know, that kind of slightly hectoring quality to George's music can be a detriment if you're not, you know, used to it, if you're not ready for it. But he had kind of been that way since the beginning. I mean, you know, what was "Don't Bother Me"? Was that the first song that he wrote? You know, was that 63, you know? So he does have a way of, like, you know, doing this in his songs, but, you know, he's still George Harrison. We still love him. Okay. All right. In 74, he does what is probably, no, I'm going to say it is his worst album of the 70s, Dark Horse. It's not that it's a bad record. It's just that it's the most banal, average, you know, album with the least impressive songs that he did at this time. He's not in good voice. He had, you know, he did a tour about that same time, 74. And it sounded like he had a sore throat for the whole time, like he had laryngitis. And when he recorded the album, he still sounds like that. So, you know, I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I mean, I'm sure he's a Beatle, right? So the Beatles are the most overly diagnosed and discussed band ever. So I'm sure you're going to have people out there who say, "Oh my God, Dark Horse is a classic." It's the least impressive to my ears. Slightly better is 75's Extra Texture. All right. He's in a little bit better voice. I probably should go over the songs now, huh? "You" is good. "This Guitar Can't Keep From Crying" is kind of like "My Guitar Gently Weeps," right? Let's see, a bit more of "You," "Can't Stop Thinking About You," "Tired of Midnight Blue." Yeah, I mean, you know, and then "His Name Is Legs." It's not that much better, you know. That was kind of like his fallow period, was the mid 70s. But he recovered fairly quickly in 76, still the mid 70s, with 33 and a third. Again, this is one of my favorites. Now, I'm going to use, for most of the rest of the video, his Dark Horse Years box set. All right. What's upside down, isn't it? Yeah. This has all the albums remastered, and, you know, it's real good. Not all the albums are great, but it's just an easy way to pick them up. So 33 and a third, I think, is a highlight of his career. It came out in 76, which is a year that I've already told you guys in previous episodes of my show, I don't think is the strongest year for rock albums. But this is, this is better than John didn't do an album this year. Paul did Wings of the Speed of Sound, which is not one of his best. So Won't Let You Cry for Me, Dear One, Beautiful Girl is really good. This song, See What You Value, True Love, Pure Smokey for Smokey Robinson. Cracker Box Palace was a hit. Learning How to Love You. Yeah, this is a solid record. All right, so if you've never heard it, 33 and a Third from 1976 in the Dark Horse Years box set. Okay, this is George Harrison, 79. This is what I would consider to be, he's got that perm in his hair there in that picture, an average George Harrison album. Now, I got a friend who thinks this is a classic. He thinks this is he even thinks this is either his favorite George album or his second best. Love Cuffs to Everyone, Not Guilty. He had that during the Beatle days. Here Comes the Moon, Blow Away was a hit. Dark Sweet Lady, Soft Touch. It's all right. Okay? Better than either of the 74 or 75 records, but again, in my estimation, not a highlight. All right? Certainly not as good as 33 and a Third. It took him 3 years to come up with this, too. So, all the same. All right, Somewhere in England, 1981. This is another fairly average one. Again, George has his fans. People are gonna tell you this is really good. Do I like this more than, say, the previous year's McCartney 2? Hard to say. I'm not a big McCartney 2 guy, but I haven't played this album a whole lot in my life either. So let's see, Blood from a Clone, yeah. All Those Years Ago, that's a good one. That was a hit. Baltimore, Oil of Teardrops, What Have I Lost? Writings on the Wall, Hong Kong Blues, Save the World. I barely even remember this album. I know this album even less than I know 79's George Harrison. So I honestly have not played this album 10 times in my entire life, which is to my detriment, but also if it were a better album, I would have played it more, So one of those things. But he hits another kind of nadir again, at least in terms of the 80s, with Gon Troppo. This comes in 82. This is his worst 80s record. Might be his worst album, period. I think, yes, I would rather play Dark Horse or Extra Texture more than Gon Troppo. I'll bet you I don't remember any of these songs. Wake Up My Love, That's the Way It Goes, really, no. Gon Troppo, Mystical One. No, I don't remember there being a hit on this record. So, Gon Troppo, my least favorite one from 82. Perhaps that's my problem, as I haven't played these records, but, or that much. Okay, he takes some time off. In fact, he doesn't even come back with a record until 87, but it's kind of like the Grateful Dead, who also didn't come back with a record until 87. I like Cloud 9. Cloud 9 is just a nice, solid pop rock kind of MTV album, for the late 80s. It's what we wanted George to do, in terms of a comeback. Lots of famous cuts. Cloud 9 is good. That's what it takes. Let's see. This Is Love. When We Was Fab was a hit. Devil's Radio was a hit. Someplace else, Witch of Hesperus. Got My Mind Set on You is a remake of an old early 60s R&B song. I mean, yeah, it's not bad. When one thinks of like 80s comeback records, this one doesn't necessarily come to mind, but it's solid. It's got that Jeff Lynne production, though, which might turn some people off, but that's okay. Because that's going to lead us right into the Traveling Wilburys. Now, yeah, I get the Traveling Wilburys, both their albums, which are not bad at all, in this little box set here. It's got 2 CDs, it's got a DVD. The 2 albums are Volume 1 and Volume 2. See if it's got the... No, it doesn't, probably. I'm looking for the CD. I'm looking for the album covers. Oh, it's one of those weird things where it's half the picture's upside down. Okay, well, no, there you go. I see them. So the Traveling Wilburys was like this superstar band that George put together with Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and Roy Orbison and Jeff Lynne. The albums don't, they don't stretch any, push the envelope in terms of being progressive or anything. It's just kind of good sing-along songs that you would expect. Handle with Care was a hit. Last Night, Margarita, Tweeter the Monkey Man, the Dylan cut. End of the Line was a hit. I like it. I like this stuff. So that came out in what, 88? And then you got Volume 2 in 1990, I want to say. Volume 2 is not quite as good. Roy Orbison, of course, had passed by then. But it's still good enough, I mean, I remember when this thing came out a long time ago, they said it was like, dad rock. I think it came out for Father's Day, which, hey, that was okay by me. I was a dad, So if you want to get this little set here, I don't know if it's out of print or what, but it gives you all the Traveling Wilburys that you need, all right? So George started off the 90s after the Traveling Wilburys project with his Live in Japan album. I had a friend who was living in Japan at that time, and he didn't see George Harrison. Wow, what a bummer, This is not a bad album. It's like a greatest hits kind of thing. It's got Clapton on here, right? Or is my mind playing tricks on me? I'm not going to read the titles, but he goes over his whole career and does a pretty good little like Paul McCartney had been doing for years by then, approximation of 20 plus years of George Harrison. So I'm not gonna say that this is a weak live album. It's too bad it doesn't come with a filmed concert, with a DVD. And that's all we got from George for the longest time. I'm not forgetting anything, am I? Until his passing, and then after his passing, we got Brainwashed, which is this little box here. This is actually a solid record. This is in its own way, it's kind of like as good as Cloud 9. It just doesn't have any hits. The whole album's pretty good. There aren't really any stinkers on here, nothing that I really skip. And whenever I play it, it's got the little Dark Horse on there, I'm surprised at how good it is. Right? Oh, there, you can see it now. So this was a good way to go out, even though he had already been out, so to speak. So I await more, deluxe editions of George's material. He didn't record a whole lot of stuff when he was here with us. Didn't do a lot of tours, so he was hard to see live. I certainly never saw him. In fact, the only Beatle I've ever seen is Paul McCartney. Never even seen Ringo, and Ringo toured a lot. So yeah, this is going to be the last of my solo Beatles shows. I simply do not have enough Ringo Starr albums to do a whole show of Ringo, although I would say he's deserving, is certainly as deserving as any other rock drummer anyway, maybe Ginger Baker. So that's going to be it for George Harrison. To sum up, I think that George would have been a major talent in any other band. But with the Beatles, he had to contend with two geniuses, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. So they tended to push his stuff, to the side until it became too powerful to ignore in the later part of their career. He started off his career in a brilliant way with the All Things Must Pass album, but he kind of exhausted his muse because it was a double LP, triple actually, but a double LP of songs that were so good that there was no filler and there was almost no place to go but down after that, It's almost like when Stephen Stills did the same thing with his Manassas album in 72, a double LP that he co-wrote or wrote all the songs, and he never again issued a really strong album after that. But George did. I mean, he had really great songs spread out amongst a number of albums. If you were going to put together, say you wanted to do a post All Things Must Pass George Harrison playlist, you could come up with, say, 20 or so songs from 71 on. 71 because I'm going to include the Bangladesh 45 that was a hit here in the States, and go right through Brainwashed, and actually you might even be able to come up with more than 20 tracks. It'd be a whole 80-minute CDR of good material. So George, one of the ones who is sadly missed. And this is Matt signing off. Until next time. Almost 20 minutes? Not bad.